Welcome to Cozy Sleep Haven. Tonight's episode invites you to join Ella, Havenport's local artist and cozy connoisseur, as she snuggles up to continue her nostalgic journey through one of her favorite TV shows, Gilmore Girls. Together, we'll revisit the charming streets of Stars Hollow and explore the heartfelt stories and unforgettable moments of Season 2. With its deepening relationships, unexpected twists, and the ever-present wit of Lorelai and Rory, this season offers a rich tapestry of cozy, emotional, and whimsical tales that will guide you into peaceful rest. We hope you enjoy tonight's trip to Stars Hollow, and that you'll come back as we continue this special 7-part series exploring the world of Gilmore Girls. Your support helps ensure we can keep bringing cozy stories night after night. So please take a moment to subscribe and join our cozy community. Here at Cozy Sleep Haven, we cherish the simple joys that bring comfort, whether it's beloved characters, the warm glow of fairy lights, or the crisp stillness of a snowy night. Our goal is to help you slow down, relax, and let the day's worries gently fade away. Let's take a moment to find calm together. Close your eyes if you'd like, and take a slow, deep breath in and out. Feel the tension ease from your shoulders as you inhale peace and exhale stress. Take another breath in and out, allowing your mind to settle. With one last deep breath, picture yourself beneath a canopy of twinkling stars, the cool air of Stars Hollow wrapping you in serenity. Now, let's step back into the magic of Stars Hollow. Snow swirled gently outside Ella's studio window, the flakes sticking to the panes and blurring the view of Havenport's snowy streets. Inside, the soft, golden glow of the studio created a warm refuge from the winter chill. Candles flickered on the windowsill, their flames reflected in the frosty glass, while the faint aroma of cinnamon tea lingered in the air. Ella moved quietly around the room, tidying small things as she prepared for a cozy evening. She adjusted the throw blanket draped across her oversized chair, fluffing the cushions just so. On the table beside it, her favorite mug, filled with steaming peppermint tea, released tiny curls of vapor into the room. Her cat, Poppy, stretched out languidly on the armrest, her soft gray fur catching the light of the candles. She twitched an ear as Ella gently placed her laptop on the table, already cued to Gilmore Girls Season 2. The familiar theme song would soon fill the space, a comforting backdrop to the evening. Ella settled into her chair, pulling the blanket over her legs and leaning back with a contented sigh. The chair creaked faintly, a sound she had grown to love, as though it were an old friend welcoming her back. She reached for her tea, letting the warmth seep into her fingers as she gazed out at the snow-dappled streetlights beyond the window. The room was quiet, except for the occasional soft hum of the radiator and the rhythmic tick of the wall clock. The snow outside glistened, catching the glow of the streetlights, giving the scene an almost magical quality. Ella smiled to herself, feeling a sense of peace as she set the mug down and clicked play on her laptop. The opening notes of the Gilmore Girls theme began, a melody that seemed to blend perfectly with the tranquil scene around her. Poppy purred softly as she settled in beside Ella, her eyes half closed, lulled by the soothing atmosphere. As the episode began, the screen filled with the familiar streets of Stars Hollow, the twinkling lights of the gazebo, and the cheerful bustle of the townsfolk brought a nostalgic warmth to the room. Ella let herself sink into the world of the show, her studio now a quiet sanctuary filled with the charm and whimsy of Lorelai, Rory, and the quirky cast of characters who made Stars Hollow feel like home. The snow continued to fall outside, but inside time seemed to slow. Ella's evening had officially begun. Episode 1, Sadie. Recap. Season 2 opens with a buzz of excitement in Stars Hollow as Lorelai announces her engagement to Max Medina. The news spreads quickly, igniting a flurry of reactions from the townsfolk, each more colorful than the last. Taylor Deuce, of course, has a lot to say, while Babette and Miss Patty are practically giddy with wedding fever. The episode sets the tone for a season filled with change, love, and the inevitable complications that follow. Meanwhile, Lorelai tries to balance the thrill of wedding planning with a lingering sense of unease. As she dives headfirst into picking venues and discussing cake options, small cracks begin to show. It's subtle at first, a hesitation in her voice, a faraway look during what should be exciting moments. While she seems happy, there's an undercurrent of doubt that hints at the emotional complexities to come. Over at Chilton, Rory's world is equally busy. She's navigating her studies while maintaining her relationship with Dean. Their young love feels tender but fragile, especially as Rory juggles her ambitions with the realities of being a teenager in a small town. The show's strength lies in these layered, relatable dynamics. And Rory's storyline in this episode is no exception. One of the most memorable scenes unfolds at Friday night dinner, where Emily learns of Lorelai's engagement. Her reaction is a mix of surprise, skepticism, and a touch of wistfulness. As always, Emily's sharp wit cuts through the room, but her lingering glances at Lorelai reveal a softer side, one that perhaps wishes things had turned out differently for her daughter. Luke's reaction to the engagement is another highlight of the episode. His stoic demeanor barely masks the sting he feels, though he tries to hide it behind a gruff congratulation. There's a tension in his scenes with Lorelai that speaks volumes without a single word being said, leaving viewers to wonder how their story will evolve as the season progresses. The episode also showcases the lighter, quirkier side of Stars Hollow. From Kirk's bizarre suggestions for wedding entertainment to Michelle's passive-aggressive commentary on the impending nuptials, the humor provides a delightful counterbalance to the emotional weight of the storylines. As the episode concludes, it's clear that while Lorelai's engagement brings excitement, it also raises questions. Questions about love, commitment, and whether she's truly ready for this next chapter. The final moments linger on her thoughtful expression, a small but telling sign of the journey ahead. The charm of Sadie lies in its ability to blend humor, heart, and a touch of bittersweet reality, setting the stage for a season that promises growth, challenges, and plenty of Stars Hollow magic. Episode 2, Hammers and Veils. As the engagement excitement settles, Lorelai plunges headfirst into wedding planning. But in true Lorelai fashion, it's not without its chaos. Between juggling caterers, venue visits, and her own doubts, the cracks in her seemingly perfect engagement to Max begin to widen. Her characteristic humor and charm mask some of her uncertainty, but the audience can see it in the quieter moments when she's lost in thought. Meanwhile, Rory dives into her Chilton life with the same dedication she's always shown, balancing an overwhelming academic workload and her relationship with Dean. Her meticulous approach to studying is admirable, but the strain begins to show, especially as the pressures of her future weigh heavily on her young shoulders. This episode is rich with Stars Hollow's signature humor. Kirk offers up yet another bizarre suggestion, this time involving wedding invitations, and Babette delivers a particularly memorable monologue about the right kind of cake topper. Michel, of course, contributes his usual dose of sarcastic commentary. The emotional centerpiece of the episode comes during Friday night dinner. Emily takes it upon herself to offer unsolicited yet pointed wedding advice to Lorelai. The tension between them is palpable, with Lorelai trying to keep the conversation light while Emily's remarks cut to the core. It's a classic Emily-Lorelai dynamic, filled with love, disappointment, and so much unsaid. The episode ends with Lorelai sitting alone in her kitchen, a pile of wedding magazines and planners untouched in front of her. The scene lingers just long enough to hint that her hesitation might be more than just pre-wedding jitters. Episode 3, Red Light on the Wedding Night. Lorelai's doubts come to a head in this pivotal episode. As the wedding date looms closer, the excitement that once surrounded her engagement to Max fades, replaced by an ever-growing sense of uncertainty. In typical Lorelai fashion, she powers through her unease with humor and her signature quick wit, but it's clear she is struggling to convince herself that this is what she truly wants. Stars Hollow is abuzz with the news of the wedding, and the town's quirky residents have opinions aplenty. Luke's subtle but telling discomfort adds a layer of tension that keeps viewers guessing about his deeper feelings for Lorelai. The dynamic between them is magnetic, even when words are few. Rory, on the other hand, finds herself caught between supporting her mother and dealing with her own romantic challenges. Her relationship with Dean feels strained as her Chilton responsibilities and personal ambitions create distance between them. It's the first time we see cracks in their seemingly perfect relationship, and it sets the stage for the emotional growth Rory will experience this season. The climax of the episode is raw and heartbreaking. Lorelai, standing alone in her house the night before the wedding, makes the bold decision to call it off. The vulnerability in her expression as she dials Max's number, coupled with her honest admission that she just can't go through with it, is one of Lauren Graham's finest moments. It's a turning point for Lorelai, signaling her willingness to listen to her heart, even when it's difficult. The episode ends on a bittersweet note, with Lorelai and Rory sharing a quiet moment on the couch, wrapped in a blanket. They may not have all the answers, but they have each other, and that's always been enough. Episode 4, The Road Trip to Harvard. After calling off her wedding to Max, Lorelai decides to take a much-needed break. What better way to clear her head than with a spontaneous road trip? She and Rory pack their bags, hop in the Jeep, and set off for an adventure that feels quintessentially Gilmore, equal parts quirky and heartfelt. Their journey takes them through charming small towns and scenic back roads, but the highlight is their impromptu stop at Harvard. Rory's dream school looms large in her imagination, and walking through the historic campus feels like stepping into the future she's been working so hard for. The episode balances Rory's awe and determination with Lorelai's bittersweet reflections. Harvard represents everything Rory has the potential to achieve, but it also serves as a reminder of the path Lorelai didn't take. Back in Stars Hollow, the absence of the Gilmores doesn't go unnoticed. Luke, in particular, seems unsettled by Lorelai's sudden getaway, though he masks his concern with gruff remarks about her knack for avoiding confrontation. It's a small but telling moment that reinforces the unspoken connection between the two. The episode ends with Lorelai and Rory checking into a quaint inn reminiscent of the Dragonfly. Their stay inspires Lorelai to think more seriously about her own dreams of running an inn with Suki, setting the stage for an important storyline that will develop throughout the season. As they settle in for the night, laughing over room service and small-town charm, it's a reminder of the strength of their bond and the shared journey they're on. Episode 5, Nick and Nora, Sid, and Nancy. The tranquility of Stars Hollow is disrupted with the arrival of Luke's nephew, Jess Mariano. From the moment Jess steps off the bus, his rebellious energy shakes up the town in ways both predictable and surprising. With his leather jacket, devil-may-care attitude, and penchant for causing trouble, Jess becomes an instant source of tension, not just for Luke, but for nearly everyone in Stars Hollow. Luke takes Jess in, determined to provide him with the structure and discipline he clearly lacks. But it's easier said than done. Jess's arrival tests Luke's patience and forces him to reflect on what it means to take on such a significant responsibility. Their clashes are equal parts frustrating and endearing as viewers catch glimpses of the vulnerability hidden beneath Jess's tough exterior. Rory's initial encounter with Jess is one of cautious curiosity. While she's put off by his brashness, there's an undeniable spark of intrigue that hints at a connection to come. Dean, ever the steady and reliable boyfriend, doesn't take kindly to Jess's presence, and the tension between the two is palpable. The episode also features Stars Hollow at its finest, with townies offering their unsolicited opinions on Jess's arrival. From Babette's nosy questions to Taylor's fretting about how Jess might corrupt the town's pristine reputation, the humor is on full display. The episode concludes with a quiet moment between Luke and Jess. After a heated argument, Luke reminds Jess that he isn't going anywhere, no matter how hard Jess tries to push him away. It's a moment of tough love that shows just how much Luke is willing to invest in his nephew, setting the foundation for one of the show's most complex and rewarding relationships. Episode 6, presenting Lorelai Gilmore. The Gilmore world collides with high society in this episode as Rory is invited to make her debut at a formal debutante ball. Emily is thrilled, seeing this as an opportunity to showcase her granddaughter, while Lorelai has her reservations, knowing how out of place Rory feels in this world. Still, Rory agrees, more out of love for her grandmother than enthusiasm for the event. The preparations bring humor and drama in equal measure. Rory's debutante dress fitting leads to some memorable banter, especially with Lorelai making pointed comments about the absurdity of the entire tradition. Meanwhile, Emily is in her element, meticulously orchestrating every detail with the kind of precision that only Emily Gilmore can manage. On the night of the ball, Richard steps in as Rory's escort, leading to a heartwarming grandfather-granddaughter moment that softens even Lorelai's skepticism. The contrast between Rory's awkward yet endearing debut and the polished perfection of the other young women is both amusing and touching. Rory's genuine kindness and authenticity shine through, making her stand out for all the right reasons. The event also stirs up old tensions between Lorelai and Emily. Emily's pride in Rory is tinged with disappointment that Lorelai never followed this path herself. Their conversations are filled with the usual Gilmore wit, but the emotional undercurrents add depth to their dynamic. The episode ends with a quiet car ride home. Rory and Lorelai share a heartfelt conversation, reminding viewers of their unique bond and the way they navigate these two very different worlds together. Episode 7, Like Mother, Like Daughter. This episode explores the sometimes complicated ways Rory and Lorelai mirror each other's experiences. At Chilton, Rory is told she needs to mingle more to improve her social standing, leading to an unexpected alliance with a group of girls dubbed the Puffs. Watching Rory navigate the world of secret societies and performative popularity is both amusing and a little heartbreaking, as it highlights her struggle to fit into Chilton's rigid social structure. Meanwhile, Lorelai faces her own social challenge when Headmaster Charleston invites her to join Chilton's Booster Club. Initially reluctant, Lorelai eventually agrees, mostly for Rory's sake. Her interactions with the wealthy, privileged parents at Chilton are classic Lorelai, sharp, funny, and filled with her unique brand of irreverence. The highlight of the episode is a chaotic yet hilarious Puff initiation ceremony that goes wildly awry, leading to Rory and her new friends getting caught. Rory's embarrassment is palpable, but it also solidifies her understanding of who she is and what she values. Back in Stars Hollow, the town hums with its usual charm. Luke and Taylor butt heads over yet another petty dispute, providing a lighthearted subplot that balances the more serious themes of the episode. Jess continues to stir the pot, his presence creating subtle but significant ripples in the relationships around him. The episode ends with a tender mother-daughter moment. Rory reflects on the social pressures she faced at Chilton, while Lorelai shares her own experiences of feeling out of place in certain circles. It's a reminder of the deep bond they share and their ability to navigate life's challenges together. Episode 8, The Ins and Outs of Ins. Dreams take center stage in this episode as Lorelai and Suki finally begin laying the groundwork for their long-anticipated inn. When an opportunity to purchase a property arises, the two friends dive headfirst into their plans, their enthusiasm bubbling over like one of Suki's pots on the stove. However, The practicalities of starting a business, funding, logistics, and, of course, dealing with Taylor soon bring them back to reality. Lorelai's determination to make her dream a reality is inspiring, but it also brings out her anxieties. The weight of the responsibility, both as a potential business owner and as Rory's mom, begins to show. The scenes between Lorelai and Sookie balance humor with heartfelt sincerity, showcasing their unique friendship and unwavering support for one another. Meanwhile, Rory is juggling her own set of responsibilities. Between Chilton's demanding workload and her relationship with Dean, she finds herself stretched thin. A minor spat with Dean highlights the growing strain on their relationship, subtly foreshadowing the challenges to come. In Stars Hollow, the town's quirky charm shines as Taylor inserts himself into Lorelai and Sookie's plans, insisting that their inn must adhere to an ever-growing list of rules and regulations. Luke, in his typical no-nonsense way, offers his support to Lorelai. Their quiet moments together hinting at the deeper connection they share. The episode ends with Lorelai and Sookie standing outside the potential inn property, their excitement tempered by uncertainty. "We'll figure it out," Lorelai says, her voice filled with determination. It's a moment that encapsulates their optimism and resilience, even in the face of challenges. Episode 9, Runaway Little Boy. Stars Hollow takes on a theatrical flair in this episode as Rory is cast in a school production of Romeo and Juliet. The project brings an unexpected twist when Rory is paired with Tristan as her Romeo. The pairing creates immediate tension, especially given Tristan's lingering feelings for Rory and his tendency to push her buttons at every opportunity. The school play serves as a backdrop for exploring Rory's relationships, not just with Tristan, but also with Dean, who is clearly uneasy about the situation. Tristan's attempts to provoke Dean add fuel to the fire, leading to some tense but entertaining moments. Despite the drama, Rory's calm and collected nature shines through as she navigates the situation with her usual grace. Back in Stars Hollow, Lorelai finds herself dealing with a mini drama of her own when an old friend from her rebellious teenage years resurfaces. Their reunion brings back memories of Lorelai's wild past, reminding her of how far she's come since those days. The juxtaposition between her past and present adds depth to Lorelai's character, showing her growth while still retaining her trademark wit and sense of fun. The episode's title, Runaway Little Boy, reflects the overarching theme of escaping old patterns and facing new challenges head-on. For Rory, it's about finding her confidence in a complex social dynamic. For Lorelai, it's about acknowledging her past without letting it define her future. The play itself is a comedic highlight with over-the-top performances and plenty of awkward moments. The final curtain falls with Rory delivering her lines perfectly, a small triumph in an episode filled with subtle growth and self-discovery. Episode 10, The Bracebridge Dinner. Stars Hollow transforms into a winter wonderland in this episode, showcasing the town's flair for turning the simplest events into memorable celebrations. Lorelai and Sookie host a grand dinner at the Independence Inn, originally planned for a group of out-of-town guests who cancel at the last minute. Rather than let the preparations go to waste, they invite the entire town to join in the festivities. The dinner is a mix of historical reenactment, quirky theatrics, and quintessential Stars Hollow charm. Townsfolk don Renaissance-era costumes, complete with fake British accents and grandiose gestures. Kirk, of course, takes his role a little too seriously, and Michelle delivers biting commentary on everyone's performances. The humor is woven seamlessly with moments of warmth, as the dinner provides an opportunity for everyone to come together in the spirit of the season. For Rory, the dinner offers a moment of reprieve from her academic pressures, but it also brings an undercurrent of tension. Jess is present, and his interactions with Rory are as charged as ever, leaving Dean uneasy and sparking the beginnings of a complicated dynamic. Lorelai and Luke share some quiet, meaningful moments during the event. Their natural chemistry undeniable. These small exchanges hint at the deeper feelings simmering beneath the surface, leaving viewers eager for more. The evening concludes with a sleigh ride through the snowy streets of Stars Hollow. The laughter of the townsfolk, the jingle of bells, and the crisp winter air create a scene that feels magical and timeless. As Lorelai and Rory ride through the snow, their bond as mother and daughter is a comforting reminder of the heart at the center of the series. Episode 11, Secrets and Loans. Lorelai faces an unexpected challenge in this episode when termites infest her house, forcing her to confront financial stress. With repairs estimated at an eye-watering cost, Lorelai must consider taking out a loan, something she's reluctant to do, especially if it involves asking her parents for help. Emily, ever the queen of unsolicited advice, seizes the opportunity to point out Lorelai's independent streak and offer her own version of assistance. Their interactions are tense but layered with love, as Emily's sharp remarks are underpinned by genuine concern. The episode provides a window into their complicated relationship, with moments of vulnerability on both sides. Meanwhile, Rory tries to help in her own way, showing her usual resourcefulness and determination. She takes on extra shifts at the inn and brainstorms solutions. Her quiet strength a testament to her deep care for her mother. The subplot features Lane, who is growing increasingly frustrated with the constraints of her strict upbringing. Her secret rebellion, a quest to fully embrace her love of music, provides humor and a glimpse of the character she'll grow into over the seasons. The emotional crux of the episode comes during a heartfelt conversation between Lorelai and Rory. Sitting in the dim light of their living room, they reflect on the sacrifices they've made and their unwavering support for each other. It's a reminder that no matter what challenges they face, their bond will always see them through. The episode ends on a hopeful note as Lorelai devises a plan to manage the repairs without compromising her independence, proving once again that she's more resilient than even she sometimes realizes. Episode 12, Richard in Stars Hollow. This episode offers a delightful clash of worlds as Richard Gilmore visits Stars Hollow for the first time. Lorelai invites her father to spend the day with her and Rory, hoping to show him a glimpse of their lives outside the grandeur of Hartford. The result is equal parts heartwarming and hilariously awkward, as Richard struggles to adapt to the quirks of small-town life. From the moment Richard steps out of his car, His reserved demeanor is at odds with the lively, eccentric atmosphere of Stars Hollow. Taylor enthusiastically greets him with an unsolicited history lesson. Kirk attempts to sell him a collection of odd trinkets, and Miss Patty charms him with her signature flair. Richard's stiff formality contrasts with the easygoing nature of the townsfolk, creating comedic gold in every interaction. The heart of the episode lies in Richard's budding understanding of Rory's life. Watching her in her element, interacting with her friends and neighbors, Richard begins to see the appeal of Stars Hollow and why it means so much to Rory and Lorelai. A visit to Luke's diner provides one of the episode's most touching moments, as Richard and Rory share a quiet conversation about her future. Lorelai, meanwhile, spends much of the day nervously trying to ensure everything goes smoothly. Her efforts lead to a few classic Lorelai mishaps, including an ill-fated attempt to explain why she has a tab at Luke's. By the end of the day, Richard surprises Lorelai by expressing his appreciation for her life in Stars Hollow. While he may not fully understand it, he acknowledges the joy it brings to her and Rory. The episode ends on a poignant note, with Richard and Lorelai sharing a rare moment of mutual respect and understanding. Episode 13, A Tisket, A Tasket. Stars Hollow's annual picnic basket auction takes center stage in this episode, bringing a mix of romance, rivalry, and classic small-town antics. The event sees residents bidding on picnic baskets, prepared by local women, with the winners earning the right to share lunch with the basket's creator. Rory's basket becomes the source of significant drama when Jess swoops in at the last minute, outbidding Dean and sparking a tense confrontation. The dynamic between Rory, Jess, and Dean reaches a boiling point, with Jess's boldness and Dean's possessiveness, leaving Rory caught in the middle. It's a turning point in the series, laying the groundwork for the love triangle that will shape much of the season. Meanwhile, Lorelai's basket is won by none other than Luke, though not without some coaxing from Miss Patty and Babette. Their picnic is filled with the kind of banter and chemistry that fans have come to adore, with Luke offering his no-nonsense perspective on the town's antics, while subtly showing his affection for Lorelai. The town's other residents provide plenty of comic relief, from Kirk's overly elaborate basket to Taylor's strict enforcement of auction rules. The event highlights Stars Hollow at its best, quirky, endearing, and full of heart. The episode ends with Rory reflecting on the day's events. While she's drawn to Jess's rebellious Cha RM, she can't ignore the tension it's creating in her relationship with Dean. It's a quietly introspective moment that underscores the complexities of growing up and navigating relationships. Episode 14, It Should Have Been Lorelai. This emotionally charged episode brings Christopher back into Lorelai and Rory's lives, rekindling old memories and stirring unresolved feelings. Christopher arrives in Stars Hollow with news. He and his girlfriend Sherry are taking their relationship to the next level, which sends ripples through the Gilmore's already complex dynamic. The title, It Should Have Been Lorelai, reflects Emily's raw emotions as she processes the reality of Christopher moving on. Her disappointment and lingering resentment toward Lorelai are palpable during a tense Friday night dinner, where Emily laments what could have been if Lorelai and Christopher had stayed together. Lorelai's frustration bubbles beneath the surface, but she does her best to remain composed for Rory's sake. Rory, meanwhile, is thrilled to see her father, and the two share some heartwarming moments that highlight the bond they share despite his frequent absences. However, Christopher's presence also creates tension for Rory, as it forces her to grapple with the complexities of her parents' history and what it means for her own sense of family. In Stars Hollow, the town reacts to Christopher's arrival with their usual mix of curiosity and unsolicited opinions. Luke's reaction is particularly notable, as his thinly veiled jealousy adds another layer of complexity to his dynamic with Lorelai. The episode ends on a bittersweet note. After an emotional conversation with Christopher, Lorelai reflects on the choices she's made and the life she's built for herself and Rory. It's a poignant moment that encapsulates the heart of the series. The idea that while life doesn't always go as planned, the relationships we nurture and the choices we make define who we are. Episode 15, Lost and Found. Tensions run high in this episode as Rory's growing friendship with Jess begins to strain her relationship with Dean. When Rory's bracelet, a gift from Dean, goes missing, it sets off a chain of events that highlights the complicated dynamics between the three characters. Jess's role in the missing bracelet mystery adds an element of intrigue. While it's clear he enjoys pushing Dean's buttons, there's also a hint of vulnerability in his actions, suggesting that his feelings for Rory run deeper than he's willing to admit. The scenes between Jess and Rory are charged with unspoken tension, leaving viewers to wonder what's brewing beneath the surface. Dean, on the other hand, struggles to contain his frustration. His protectiveness over Rory begins to border on possessiveness, creating moments of conflict that feel inevitable given the growing distance between them. Meanwhile, Lorelai faces her own challenges as she navigates the logistics of opening her inn with Sookie. Their partnership remains a source of humor and heart, as Sookie's culinary creativity and Lorelai's determination continue to shine. A run-in with Taylor over zoning regulations adds a touch of Stars Hollow's signature charm, reminding viewers of the town's quirky but lovable nature. The episode concludes with Rory finding her bracelet and realizing the deeper implications of her feelings for Jess. It's a subtle but significant moment, as Rory begins to question what she truly wants and whether her current path aligns with her growing sense of self. Episode 16. There's the Rub. This episode is a delightful mix of relaxation and chaos, as Rory and Emily take a trip to a luxurious spa, while Lorelai enjoys a rare evening at home. The contrasting experiences showcase the unique relationships and quirks of the Gilmore family. At the spa, Rory and Emily's interactions provide both humor and heart. Initially, Emily insists on sticking to a regimented schedule of treatments and activities, but Rory encourages her to let loose and enjoy the moment. As the day progresses, Emily begins to soften, revealing a more vulnerable and playful side. A candid conversation over cucumber water shows the deep love and mutual admiration they share, even if they don't always express it. Back in Stars Hollow, Lorelai's quiet night at home doesn't stay quiet for long. Her plans for a peaceful evening unravel when Jess and Dean both show up unexpectedly. The resulting interactions are tense and awkward, with Dean's protective nature clashing against Jess's provocations. Lorelai finds herself playing referee, trying to keep the peace while navigating her own feelings about Rory's changing relationships. The episode is filled with small, memorable moments that reflect the show's charm. Lane's subplot about her secret music stash adds a touch of humor and teenage rebellion, while Suki's over-the-top excitement about a new menu idea provides her usual dose of warmth and whimsy. The episode ends with Rory and Emily returning from the spa, both looking relaxed and content. Rory shares a quiet moment with Lorelai, recounting the trip and reflecting on the complexities of their relationships with Emily. It's a subtle reminder of the strength and resilience of the Gilmore women, even in the face of life's challenges. Episode 17, Dead Uncles and Vegetables. This episode dives into the emotional complexity of Luke's character as he grapples with the loss of his uncle, Louis. While Louis wasn't exactly beloved, his gruff demeanor and cantankerous personality were legendary. Luke feels a sense of obligation to honor his memory. The result is a heartfelt exploration of family, legacy, and community. As Luke organizes Louis' funeral, the town rallies around him in their own peculiar ways. Taylor insists on turning the event into a spectacle, complete with a parade and commemorative banners, much to Luke's frustration. Miss Patty and Babette offer their unique brand of support, while Kirk's attempts to contribute result in a series of comedic missteps. Rory and Lorelai step in to help, providing Luke with emotional support and a much-needed dose of humor. Lorelai's banter with Luke is particularly poignant, as she offers her perspective on family and loss while subtly reminding him that he's not alone. Meanwhile, Rory's storyline focuses on her ongoing efforts to balance her academic and personal life. A school project leads her to reflect on her future, sparking a thoughtful conversation with Lorelai about ambition and the importance of following one's passions. The episode concludes with a modest but heartfelt funeral service for Louis. As Luke delivers a simple eulogy, he reflects on the complicated nature of family and the lessons he's learned from his uncle, both good and bad. The scene is a testament to Luke's character, quietly strong, deeply caring, and always willing to do the right thing even when it's difficult. Episode 18, Back in the Saddle Again. Richard Gilmore takes center stage in this episode as he adjusts to retirement by diving into a business venture, and Rory unexpectedly becomes his partner in the project. After feeling restless and out of place since stepping away from his career, Richard decides to assist a former colleague with launching a new business. Rory's interest in his work provides a surprising connection between grandfather and granddaughter. Rory's natural curiosity and diligent work ethic impress Richard, and their collaboration results in some heartwarming moments. Together, they prepare a polished presentation, with Richard offering his expertise and Rory adding her fresh perspective. The experience highlights Rory's growing confidence and ability to navigate new challenges, even outside her comfort zone. Meanwhile, Lorelai grapples with mixed feelings about Richard's sudden involvement in Rory's life. While she's glad to see them bonding, She also worries that Richard's high expectations could add pressure to Rory's already demanding schedule. A candid conversation between Lorelai and her father reveals their ongoing struggles to understand each other's priorities, but it also underscores their mutual love for Rory. Back in Stars Hollow, the town provides its usual dose of comedic relief. Suki experiments with a new dessert recipe that results in a minor kitchen disaster, and Kirk attempts to market a line of questionable self-help books. The lighthearted subplots balance the more emotional tones of the episode. The episode ends with Rory and Richard celebrating the success of their project. Richard's pride in Rory is evident, and Rory gains a deeper appreciation for the work ethic and passion that have driven her grandfather's career. It's a touching conclusion that strengthens the bond between them while highlighting Rory's growth. Episode 19, Teach Me Tonight. This episode takes a dramatic turn as Rory and Jess's relationship begins to intensify, leading to a series of events that ripple through Stars Hollow. When Rory's grades slip slightly, Lorelai enlists Jess to help tutor her, hoping that his intelligence and sharp wit will be a good influence. However, the arrangement leads to anything but academic focus. During one of their study sessions, Jess convinces Rory to take a break and go for a drive. What starts as a lighthearted escape quickly turns serious when Jess loses control of the car, resulting in an accident. The sight of Rory's injured wrist and the wrecked Jeep sends shockwaves through the town and deepens the tension between Jess and Dean. Lorelai's reaction to the accident is a mix of fear, anger, and frustration. She confronts Luke, holding him partially responsible for Jess's behavior. Their heated argument is one of the most intense moments of the series, revealing the depth of their connection and the strain that Jess's presence has placed on their relationship. Rory, meanwhile, finds herself at the center of the fallout. She struggles to reconcile her growing feelings for Jess with the damage caused by the accident. Her relationship with Dean becomes even more strained, and the cracks that have been forming throughout the season become impossible to ignore. The episode concludes with a quiet but powerful moment between Rory and Lorelai. Sitting in Rory's room, they reflect on the events of the day and the challenges they're facing. Lorelai's unwavering support for Rory serves as a reminder of the strength of their bond, even in the most difficult times. Episode 20, Help Wanted. This episode centers on Richard's new career venture as he takes the leap into starting his own consulting firm. The transition proves both exciting and challenging, and Lorelai finds herself reluctantly pulled into the process when Richard asks for her help with office logistics. Their collaboration is a rare glimpse into the shared determination and work ethic that connects them, despite their frequent clashes. As Lorelai helps Richard set up his office, the two navigate their usual tension, but there are moments of genuine understanding. Richard's pride in his new venture is evident, and Lorelai can't help but admire his resilience and drive, even as she rolls her eyes at his meticulous demands. Their scenes together strike a balance of humor and heart, showcasing the complexities of their father-daughter relationship. Meanwhile, Rory finds herself increasingly distracted by Jess, much to Dean's frustration. Jess's quick wit and rebellious charm continue to draw her in, creating subtle but noticeable distance between her and Dean. The town begins to pick up on the shift, leading to a flurry of gossip and speculation. The Stars Hollow subplot provides comic relief as Taylor organizes a town initiative to repaint the gazebo, turning a simple project into a full-blown spectacle. Kirk, of course, takes his role as paint supervisor far too seriously, resulting in a series of laugh-out-loud moments. The episode ends on a hopeful note as Richard celebrates the launch of his firm with a small gathering, while Rory and Lorelai share a quiet moment, reflecting on how much Richard's journey mirrors their own determination to chase their dreams no matter the obstacles. Episode 21, Lorelai's Graduation Day. This milestone episode brings a wave of emotion as Lorelai graduates from her business course. The achievement marks a significant step toward her dream of opening the Dragonfly Inn and serves as a reminder of her perseverance and growth. The graduation ceremony is a mix of pride and hilarity as Lorelai's fellow students cheer her on with exuberance while Emily arrives late, flustered, and slightly out of place. Despite the awkwardness, Emily's presence adds an emotional weight to the event, showing her quiet pride in Lorelai's accomplishment. Rory, however, takes an unexpected detour on the way to her mother's graduation. Unable to resist the pull of her growing connection with Jess, she skips school to visit him in New York City. The decision leads to a day of exploration and unexpected intimacy, but it also brings consequences when she returns to find Lorelai hurt and disappointed by her absence. The episode captures the push and pull of Rory's journey as she begins to carve out her own identity, even when it means making mistakes. Lorelai's reaction is a mix of frustration and understanding, as she recognizes the parallels between Rory's choices and her own past. The episode concludes with a quiet moment between mother and daughter. Rory apologizes, and Lorelai, while still hurt, reassures her of her unconditional love. It's a scene that highlights the strength of their bond and the forgiveness that anchors their relationship, even in times of conflict. Episode 22, I Can't Get Started. The Season 2 finale delivers a mix of romance, drama, and heartfelt moments, setting the stage for the changes to come. Sookie and Jackson's wedding is the centerpiece of the episode, bringing the entire town together for a celebration filled with joy and Stars Hollow's signature quirks. As Sookie frets over the final details, Lorelai steps in as her steadfast friend and maid of honor, offering humor and support in equal measure. The wedding preparations are a whirlwind of activity, from floral arrangements to Jackson's hilariously specific demands for his wedding attire. The event perfectly captures the warmth and charm of Stars Hollow, complete with a few laugh-out-loud moments courtesy of Kirk and Taylor. Amid the festivities, Christopher returns, throwing Lorelai's world into turmoil. His visit is unexpected, and the news he brings that Sherry is pregnant forces both him and Lorelai to confront the reality of their relationship. Their emotional conversation is raw and honest as they acknowledge the deep feelings they still have for each other while recognizing the impossibility of being together. Rory, meanwhile, finds herself further entangled in her complicated relationship with Jess. Their growing connection becomes increasingly difficult to ignore. even as Rory struggles to maintain her loyalty to Dean. The tension comes to a head during the wedding reception, where Dean's jealousy boils over, leaving Rory torn between the familiarity of her relationship with Dean and the excitement Jess represents. The episode ends with a poignant moment between Lorelai and Rory as they reflect on the day's events. Suki and Jackson's wedding serves as a reminder of the joys and challenges of love, while the unresolved threads in their own lives hint at the emotional journeys awaiting them in Season 3. As the camera pans out, the twinkling lights of Stars Hollow create a sense of hope and possibility, leaving viewers eager to see what lies ahead for the Gilmore Girls and the town they call home. The final credits for Season 2 fade away, leaving Ella's studio bathed in the soft, flickering glow of candlelight. The snow outside has slowed, blanketing the town in a serene quiet, as though even Havenport is reflecting on the emotional journey of Stars Hollow. Ella sits back in her oversized chair, her mug of peppermint tea now empty but still warm to the touch. Poppy stirs beside her, stretching lazily before curling up again with a soft purr. Ella gazes out the window, watching the snowflakes settle under the glow of the streetlights. Season 2 had been a whirlwind of emotions, moments of joy, heartbreak, and everything in between. The Gilmore Girls had faced their share of challenges, but their strength, humor, and unwavering bond had carried them through. It was a reminder, Ella thought, of the beauty in imperfection and the resilience of love and community. She folded the blanket tighter around her, letting the quiet peace of the moment sink in. The warmth of her studio, the glow of the candles, and the steady rhythm of Poppy's breathing all combined to create a sense of calm and comfort. Ella's thoughts drifted to the upcoming season. Season 3, she murmured to herself, a soft smile spreading across her face. It was a season filled with new beginnings, deeper connections, and of course, more Stars Hollow magic. She couldn't wait to continue the journey. With a final glance out the window, she leaned back, closing her eyes. The soft sounds of the snow-covered night wrapped around her like a lullaby, a perfect ending to her cozy evening. The studio fell silent, except for the faint hum of the radiator and the occasional pop of a candle's wick. As we leave Ella tonight, the magic of Stars Hollow lingers, a reminder that even in the chaos of life, there is always space for warmth, connection, and a little bit of whimsy. May your night be restful, your dreams peaceful. Good night.